Testing. Testing, testing. AJ's on the blue channel, so this has to be the green mic, and so it doesn't have a mute.
Good morning. Welcome. I am Reverend Joanna, and my pronouns are she, her. And this church is an intentional intergenerational village where we share our lives and we work together to become the people we've always wanted to be and to build the world that we've always wanted to live in. Whoever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on life's journey, all who are welcoming are welcome here. And it is so good to be together. Would you please rise as you are willing and able and join us in our first song, Morning Has Broken. And remain standing for our chalice lighting and the sung response.
today our chalice is being lit by Nico. We Unitarian Universalists don't drink from our chalice. Instead, we use it to hold the flame. The flame doesn't bind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light, so we can see all the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones, because the Unitarian Universalist flame is a light of learning.
And please join us in our sung response. So today we have a unique service that is called Opening the Question Box. For Unitarian Universalists, asking questions comes with the territory. There we go. For many of our members, asking questions has been a significant part of their lives. In many cases, their questioning is part of what drew them to this faith. Here, questions are not only welcomed, they are celebrated. Our understanding of truth is, thank you, and you're going to be doing this. Our understanding of truth is that it belongs to all of us. There is no one person, one book, no one authority that has all of the answers. A few years back, there was a slogan floating around UU congregations, Unitarian Universalist, we offer questions to your answers. Part of our responsibility of being in this faith community is that we are willing to bring our questions, listen to how others answer, and engage in respectful dialogue about our beliefs. And that's kind of a countercultural thing right now, isn't it? So that's what we're going to be doing today. And the question box sermon is a long tradition in many UU congregations. Since I've been here 12 years, we've done it just about every year. So as you came in, I hope you grabbed an index card. We also have some more along with some pins. If there is anyone who needs an index card, if you could raise your hand, and Nancy will come and get that to you. So I invite you to write your question for me right now. It could be about Live Oak, and also AJ, our intern minister, is going to be helping. It could be about Live Oak, or theology, or current events, or Unitarian Universalism, or whatever it is that is on your heart and mind. In the interest of right relationship, please put your name on it, but don't worry, I will not be announcing who who asked what. And the cards are going to be collected at the time of the offering here in just a few minutes. And AJ and I will respond to as many questions as our time allows. I do reserve the right, we can never get to all of them. I reserve the right to use any that we can't answer today as sermon ideas or columns for the newsletter.
Good morning, and welcome to this House of Hope. My name is Lindy Dower, and I use she, her pronouns. One reason I love this church so much is because we are willing to address current events that affect our values. So I am a member of the JEDI team, which stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I'd like to give a special welcome to anyone visiting us for the first time. I encourage you to stop by our table in the Welcome Center, where we can give you a little goodie bag, get you signed up for our weekly email bulletin, and answer any questions you may have. After the service, please stick around for a few minutes, have some coffee. We'd love to get to know you. And today, you have the opportunity to learn more about Live Oak. After the service, there will be an exploring membership class from noon to 1:30 in the library. This community has events happening all throughout the week. I encourage you to go to the website at liveoakuu.org and click on what's happening every Sunday night to fill out your schedule for the week. Something you might be interested in this week is the Big Ideas discussion group with Reverend Joanna and our intern minister, AJ Juraska. It's this Wednesday, October 15th from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
So today is a special day in the life of our congregation. We are being transformed as we welcome new members who are going to bring new ideas, new desires, new energies, and new opportunities to us. And we are going to share our ideas, desires, energies, and projects with them. Our covenant securely grounds us, but it also resonates with new life. As George Kimmel Beach put it, people don't join a covenanted community, rather they constitute it. There is no it without them, and each time new folks join, the whole is literally reconstituted.
Each of the following people has completed all the necessary requirements to become a member of Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. It is with joy that I invite up on the chancel Marie and Sage Jimenez, Sam Sweeney and Keziah Crawford, Sabrina Cleary, Mariela Cifuentes, and Barbara and Alan Charbonneau.
Today, the identity of all of our members, old and new, is changing. This congregation gets a new identity because you change us. We are now your church. And you change because you now add a member of Live Oak to who you are. Simply put, with these promises that we make to each other, you become ours and we become yours. Will the members of the congregation please rise in body or in spirit and join me in our words of commitment? We, the members of Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church, welcome you into membership. We promise to walk along with you in your spiritual journey, to work together with you to strengthen this liberal religious community, and to make our vision for a just and peaceful world come alive. And will the new members please say your words?
We pledge with our hands and hearts to contribute to the common good of this liberal religious community and to join in the spirit of love, reason, and freedom that we find here. We join you in the mission to embrace joy, enrich connections, encourage growth, and empower dreams.
Let us welcome these new members into our fold. Let us give them the best of our tradition, who we have been and who we are today. But let us also open ourselves to the ways in which they are going to teach and transform us and share in the construction of the community that together we are becoming. Neither churches nor their members are perfect. If you hang around here long enough, one of two things, and possibly both, may happen to you. Eventually, the church may disappoint you, or you may disappoint the church. A time may come when we fail to act or respond to something that you are sure we should have. A time may come when you can't do something that the church asks of you. And it's not that what happened isn't important, it is. But what is most important is what happens next. As long as we stay in covenanted community, seeking right relationship, our commitment to each other will be strengthened and we will grow as individuals and as a healthy community.
family, which I'll At Live Oak, it is important that what happens here does not stay here. We hope you will find a way to keep this chalice burning in your home and in your heart. And if you're new here and interested in membership, as you heard, we're going to have an exploring membership meeting today at 12. I understand there will also be some childcare provided and a light lunch if you're interested. Immediately after the ceremony, we're going to have a formal book signing, and we invite all of you to join us in the fellowship hall and to welcome our brand new members. New members, please exit the stage to your right, and the rest of us will give a heartfelt applause.
Buddhist author Jack Kornfield wrote in his book, The Wise Heart, "While it's true every form of giving is a blessing, there is often shame and fear, judgments and expectations around money, whether it's having too much or too little. We have gotten the erroneous belief that money is not compatible with genuine spiritual life. But money is neutral energy that can be used in either unskillful or skillful ways. When money is wisely used," says the Buddha, "it benefits our welfare and that of our family, and its generosity extends to our community, our spiritual life, and the common good. And now an offering will be taken to sustain the work of this church. We will also gather up your questions, so don't get them mixed up."
lifespan faith development, she, her pronouns, and while we buy them time to sort the questions, I already have them preloaded with 3 questions from the kids. So instead of the story, I'm going to share with you the questions that 3 of the kids have sent in. I'm going to start out, I'm lucky because I've got to see them ahead of time. So I'm going to start out with the simplest one. And then I thought, is it? What is your favorite hymn? Oh my goodness, there's so many. There's so many. I'm not sure. And then I thought, well, at this time in my life, it was this one and this one and that one. But actually, in this moment, the hymn that I'm called to sing in the shower, in the car, while I'm walking down the hallway, while I'm grocery shopping, is When I Breathe In,
Breathe in peace.
When I Breathe Out,
I breathe out love.
Yes, so because I got the question ahead of time, I went ahead and looked up who wrote the song, Sarah Dan Jones, and why she wrote it. And you may not know this, but she wrote it the day after 9/11. There are a lot more lyrics to this than what we know, and it eventually became a mantra, a chant. I encourage you to, I will share it on the Facebook page today for you so that you can see it. But right now, that's the hymn that calls to me and helps me get through my days. Now, the next one was, how is the earth created? And I'm going to say that Reverend Joanna punted this to me. So, the person that wrote this isn't here today, so I'm thinking of them as I answer, how was the earth created? Well, we don't really know for sure, do we? We don't know positively. We have theories. And of course, for me, I am a believer in the Big Bang Theory. And why am I a believer in the Big Bang Theory? Well, it's not just about the science of it. For me, it's about my personal theology. Because we often preach and we often teach our children, we are stardust. And when I think about the infinite size of the universe and the fact that there was a crucible that happened where everything exploded and the atoms of the universe were melded together and created and sent out, that created everything else, and that lives within us. And that theology, my personal theology, is that there is a spark of the divine that lives within all of us, and collectively we become the divine. So for me, it just makes sense that everything is connected, and that, and the TV show's not bad either. But it plays right into my own personal theology. Now, my last one was, what is your favorite value? Oh my goodness, JETPIG, justice, equity, transformation. I love transformation. Pluralism. What else? Interdependence and generosity. And I was thinking about this, I was like, well, how do you pick one? Because those are the values, right? It's love. Love in the center. Love in the center that powers it all. Love as a verb. That we don't have justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity without having the verb of love to make it happen. So, did I buy you enough time?
We're going to keep doing it.
They're going to keep doing it. So those are my 3 questions, and I really appreciate them because they made me have to stop and think, what is it that I truly believe? And I wonder how many times do you stop and think about what it is that you believe, and why do you believe it? And do you still believe it? And how you can use that to be a better person in the world. And with that, my questions are done. Thank you.
Please rise for our theme hymn number 1003. Where do we come from?
So yes, hello everyone, I'm Curtis White, music director here. We're gonna try to do this next hymn as a round. So we have the choir here to help. The leaders are gonna be on that side and they're gonna be singing with them. Can you raise your hand, part one? You're gonna be following them, and then part two is over here and y'all are singing with them. Y'all can raise your hands. We'll sing it all together and then we will do it in a round and I will help you through that. Thank you.
Our reading today is from Letters to a Young Poet by Rainier Maria Rilke. I would like to beg you, dear sir, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answers.
Okay, AJ, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, I got a whole bunch of kind of personal ones. I'm going to address them all together. First, how do you come up with your sermons? They've been exactly what I've needed lately. Thanks. Thank you so much for saying that. So I will tell y'all what my superpower is. I am totally ordinary. I am like the most I'm the most ununique, just ordinary person. Most of the times when I give a sermon, it is a sermon that I need to hear. I'm really glad that y'all need to hear it too. Please tell us about that unique and beautiful stole. So this, it's actually embroidered on the other side, maybe up at the neck, yes. So this was a gift last year on my, when we were celebrating my 10-year anniversary here. And I believe Catherine Inyart had it designed and commissioned it. And as you see, there's the symbol of live oak and our UU values. And look, has anyone noticed that that is up here? And our labyrinth, and then symbols of the season. And I absolutely love it. How do you prefer to be addressed? Rev or Reverend? Reverend Joanna, Reverend Joe, Reverend Mother. Well, because they just joined the church, there are 2 people allowed to call me Reverend Mother, but no one else. So I do go by Reverend Joe, because it is the office that I hold, but Reverend Joanna or Reverend Joe. If we're out in public, like if it's something really formal, Reverend Crawford. Let's see, what more? Okay, yes. What part of being a minister brings you joy? I won't say everything. We all have our little things that we have to do in our job. For me, scheduling meetings, like y'all have to know, if I schedule a meeting, it is done out of great love and dedication. There's something about that, it just kind of breaks my brain. But I honestly love so much about this job. It is the ultimate generalist position where whatever skills you have, you get to bring in. So like last night, I was editing videos. Today I get to be up here. I will say one thing, that if you're not a minister, I know you have learned this now, you understand this now, that I genuinely love and am honored by is funerals. And I would not have guessed that. In fact, before I got into ministry, I thought that, oh my gosh, that's something you have to do. But it is such an incredible honor, because I meet with the family and I say, tell me the story of this person's life. And I take a lot of notes, and out of that comes the eulogy. And I get to know the person on a deeper level. And sometimes it is someone who I have known for 12 years, but there will be things about their life that I didn't know. So that's one of the things that's definitely at the top.
Yeah, well, on that note of funerals, there's a tougher question, which is there life after death? Or conversely, is there life after life? And I would love to know the answer, so if anyone in the audience knows the answer, I'm open to hearing it. But I'll tell you what my current belief is, which is that we contribute to life throughout our lives. We live on through our stories. We live on through the ways we influence others. And we live on through the fact that our atoms and our cells and all of our body become part of the earth and continue to support the earth. And so I do believe that there's life after death, but maybe not in the way that people often think of there being life after death. But that's just my views, and as a UU, you're welcome to believe in any number of other things. So many UUs believe in reincarnation, many UUs do believe in heaven or some form of life after life, or souls going somewhere, and those are all beautiful beliefs that we welcome and honor. So, yeah.
Okay, will the Unitarian Universalist Association issue guidance for congregations related to Ken Paxton's recent statement about going undercover in certain left-wing organizations? Gosh, I wish he would here. Like he might, no, he wouldn't. He actually, like if you don't know this story, Amber Riggle is a UU who used to live in Denton, and it was a bunch of years ago. She has a trans child. Ken Paxton went and had dinner with her family, and obviously it didn't change him at all. So forget that I said that. But will the UU Association be issuing guidance? I strongly doubt it, and it's because we've reached out to them in different things, for different things before, and what they come back to, and I'm not sure that they're wrong about this, is we have congregational polity, and so ultimately it is up to us. Now, we are interdependent with other UU congregations. Frankly, congregations in Boston, they don't have much to offer us right now. They're not down here. They don't know what it's like. But the Texas UU congregations are very tightly interlinked. And so, for instance, this spring, after the Texas Ledge had passed some rules about sex education, our faith development director connected with some other churches. We got legal representation to talk to us to make sure that we could continue doing what we do, and we can and we will. And another question? Since we have to post the 10 Commandments in school, what are the 10 Commandments for Unitarian Universalists? We don't have any, because we don't believe that we should command anyone to do something out of our values. And also, we do have our 7 values where love is at the center, and any teachers who want to post that up on their walls, I will be happy to purchase a really beautiful copy for you.
So our next question is, how does UU embrace or not the teachings of Jesus? And similar questions are, how does my Christian upbringing, culture, and faith become integrated with being in a UU church? And does UU membership require I renounce Christianity as a faith? And I think the great news is Christianity is welcome here. You can be a Christian UU, you can be a Hindu UU, you can be a Muslim UU, you can be an atheist UU. All that we ask is that you agree to our covenant as a church and our values, our 7 values, which are love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, why am I forgetting the I? Interdependence, thank you, and generosity. So we don't exclude people based on their religious beliefs. We are very inclusive of religious beliefs. And that does include the teachings of Jesus. While you won't often hear us talk about Jesus in the pulpit, I'll actually be doing a sermon just after Christmas about what does UU Christology look like. So please come to that if you're interested in learning more about what Jesus has relevance to our UU faith. And so you don't have to renounce your Christianity. You're welcome to bring your Christian culture and faith as long as you do so within the right relationships of the church. And we do embrace many of the teachings of Jesus through the values that we espouse, which align with many of the teachings of Jesus, who I think we should remember was a refugee, was a political advocate against an empire, and was doing a lot of revolutionary things. So we don't throw out Jesus, but you may not hear as much Jesus here because we embrace so many different faiths.
I've got 2 questions here that kind of go together. So one is, how do I explain Unitarian Universalism to my family that is in a strict and highly evangelical church? And how can I explain why I left? And then another one, a friend was telling me about feeling lonely, so I suggested finding a community. She joined a Christian church, and now she's trying to convert me. No good deed. How do I respond with love while keeping my boundaries? So for both of these, that last word about boundaries, I think is so important. And self-differentiation. We talk about it all the time. Self-differentiation means that we get to show up as our fully expressed self, but it also means that the other person does too. And so the question is, when we have these conversations, which I absolutely think that we should, is I am willing to listen to the other person. Are they willing to listen to me? And for me, a lot of the time, if they're not willing to even listen to me, then that's not a conversation worth having. I can turn on the TV if I want to be proselytized too. But I will also say this, especially like with this one about the friend. I got this from Meg Riley. I find a really powerful question when someone is trying to convert you or is trying to talk about their church, is to ask them, what do you love about your church? And it really changes, it gets away from right or wrong or any of that, and it gets into the personal. And from that, you can then talk about, oh, thank you. Boy, yeah, I can see why this is important to you. Let me tell you about why I love my church. And I think that when we get past the creeds and the dogma, a lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times we can find some sort of common ground.
So I was talking about Jesus being a revolutionary, and one of the questions we got is, how can we start a revolution? Which is a great question. I once saw, I can't remember if it was a TED Talk or a YouTube video, but I saw a video about how do you start a revolution. And it's an example of people in a park, and they're sitting in the park, and then one person starts dancing. And one person who starts dancing is not a revolution. What the one person really needs is a second person to start dancing with them. Because once the second person starts dancing, then more and more people will join. But you really need that second person to join. So I really encourage you, there's a lot of activism already happening. There's a lot of work towards revolution in a positive way really happening right now. So don't feel like you have to start activism on your own. Don't feel like you have to start a mass protest by yourself. There are so many people already doing this work, and if you connect with our Jedi team, they can point you in the direction of things that you can support to help fight against fascism and really work towards our values, living our values in the world. So don't feel like you have to do it alone. Get in a boat and cheer on those who are already doing the work.
Okay, I got a couple of questions here. How does what does Unitarian Universalism really believe? Is it more spiritual, based on God? So the framework of this question, I think, is the most important thing. We live in a Christian hegemony. And because of that, even those of us who have left Christianity behind, the work of deconstruction isn't done if we're still using the framework of Christianity. Part of the framework of Christianity is the idea that religion is centered on shared belief. And even for Christianity, that's not always true. Like Quakers would say that they are non-creedal. But if you look at other religions like Taoism, Buddhism, certain strains of Hinduism, and actually even Judaism, rabbis will tell you theirs is not a religion about belief. Theirs is a religion about practice. When you look at these other religions, belief is not the framework. So, like to say, what does Unitarian Universalism really believe? Give me a random 5 people here just in this congregation, and we will probably have 5 really different beliefs. And maybe more. I don't know about you, but it depends on the day, I am open to a lot of different things. And so, somewhat connected to that, please talk about experiencing spirituality while being an atheist. Is it possible? I would say absolutely. And I was very lucky, a very dear friend of ours who has since passed away, Cheryl Marshall, was an absolute ardent, in-your-face, rolling her eyes at anything, godly, atheist. And she was also one of the most spiritual people that I knew. And, how do you define spiritual? I don't think that there's really an easy answer. It's kind of like art, right? I know it when I see it, or more importantly, I know it when I experience it. But I also know that some of my spiritual experiences, if I try and explain them to someone else, I'm going to fail. Because again, it's an experience. It's not the words and the meaning that I attach to it. But this one is also really hitting me because on TikTok, I got a question just here recently, and it was someone who is trying to understand our religion and was saying, okay, so, because I had had a video about, me personally and us historically have not believed in a afterlife hell. And this person was going, okay, so does that just mean that this life is all that there is? And I was just kind of blown away by the whole premise of that question. And I think that to me, this is what spirituality is. To me, this life is such a miracle. The odds that any of us would have been born, when you look at the science of how it happens, we've already won the lottery. And when it feels like, Peter Mayer has a song called Holy Now, where he says, everything's a miracle. And to me, I guess that's where I really land with spirituality, is when we open our eyes and we get out of just being on autopilot and taking things for granted and realize how miraculous everything is.
All right, I'm going to take an easy question, which is flour or corn, which I believe is a reference to taco preference, which is a heated topic, I know, but I have celiac disease, so I can't eat gluten. So my answer is corn, which may be kind of boring, I don't know, but yeah. But if we were talking earlier, I lived in New Mexico for 2 years, and if you live in New Mexico, the question is red or green, which refers to the sauce you put on your enchiladas. And many people like Christmas, which is both red and green. And fun fact, New Mexico is the only state that has a state question, and it is red or green is the question. So, but I'll take a more serious question as well. Is it cowardly to flee the state with everything going on, or is going to happen in the state, versus staying and trying to prevent it? And I think that it is not cowardly to flee the state. My belief is that it is a personal choice that everyone has to make based on their own intersectionality of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, and other marginalized categories, disabilities, etc. I think that those of us who, like I'm non-binary, for example, and I am really weighing what is this state going to look like in 3 years, and what do I need to think about in terms of my own safety. And so it's something that we have to consider and pay very serious attention to. I think it takes a lot of strength for us to be who we are. And so I think if you're saying, I need to be myself and be who I am, and I can't do that here, I'm going to be brave and do that somewhere else, I think that's in fact very brave and not cowardly at all. I do think there are those of us who have more privilege who need to think about what we can do to protect those who are more marginalized. And I think part of that protection means staying and putting ourselves in less safe situations so that we can protect those who are more unsafe. So I think it is a balancing act, but no, I don't think it's cowardly to flee the state, especially based on your identity. So.
Got a really hard one here. Do you feel the church has failed any of its members within the last 5 years? If so, was anything changed after? That's a really good question. It's 2025, so we're still under the wire of saying the pandemic. Sure. We absolutely failed members because all of us were going through the pandemic at the same time. You know, I've thought about this before, about when my youngest daughter had cancer and we were in such a crisis. We had so many people around us who stepped forward and helped us go through that. To me, the pandemic is as if everyone had a child who had cancer, then how do you help each other? So that one is still something that bothers me. I will say, I think that because of that, we have found new ways of making sure that people are connected. When you become a member, as people did today, it doesn't stop there. We have a lot of members who are putting their time and energy into, okay, you're a member, and now what? How do we get you plugged in? How do we help you to be creating genuine relationships that we hope are going to be lifetime relationships? So one of the things that we say around here is we are always in beta. I'm sure that we fail all the time, but we also try to learn from that and we try to fail forward.
I have a couple of questions that I am really excited about. What would evangelical Unitarian Universalism look like? And how can we best restate and rephrase our values and principles in a way to share our faith with friends, families, or strangers who come from different backgrounds to invite them to church? A friend of mine has a sermon that she does about the fact that we need to be more evangelical as UUs because we have something really beautiful and important to share. And so the way I've found I'm being evangelical is by just not being afraid to talk about my faith. I don't talk about it in a way that says, you need to believe this or you need to come to church, which I think is often the way evangelism is done. But I think by sharing my faith with other people and saying, yeah, I'm UU, I go to church, we believe in values, we don't believe in creed, which means that we don't say you have to believe certain things, we just say you have to live up to your values. And we have some people who are Christian UUs, but most people are not. So you really can be who you are in the church, and I just really feel welcome there. And I need a space like that right now in these times. I found that when I talk about my own beliefs and feelings and why I'm UU, other people start getting interested and looking up what Unitarian Universalism is and start looking into churches, especially if they've been unchurched for a while. It's not as successful with my Christian friends who tend to be more solid in their beliefs and have a church already, but I think there are a lot of people who consider themselves non-religious right now, who are actually seeking what we have here in terms of community and spirituality and love. So yeah, I think evangelism is important.
I'm going to give you one last one,
okay,
and then I'll close this up.
Is wokeness another word for equality? And I think this is a tough one. I would say that this could go in a lot of directions. I think that the right is often using wokeness to say we don't want equality and we certainly don't want equity. We don't want to change things to right size for people. So I do think the right is using wokeness often as an interchangeable word for equality. But I would say that to me what being woke means or staying woke means is trying to be aware of the things that other people face, to be aware of what's happening in the world. And I don't think that's about equality. I actually think it's about living out my values and wanting the world to be a more equitable place, not just equal. And so I would say that for me, wokeness is not the same as equality, but I do think it gets used by many people as demonizing equality and demonizing equity.
Okay, I'm going to close this out. I got a bunch of questions that are all kind of getting to the same thing. How can I love and understand my neighbors better during these divided times we are in? How do I keep love at the center when I'm yelling at the TV because I'm so mad at the lies and the injustice I see? With so much misery and sorrow socially, politically, economically, how do we not become overwhelmed and paralyzed to act for the greater good? And what can a person who doesn't have an abundance of time or emotional stamina do to work against the fascist ideologies and practices that seem to be getting more and more traction these days? I hate I hate to remind you all this. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's only been 10 months. Like, how is that even possible, right? It's only been 10 months. I think that one thing we have to do, I know I'm biased to say this, come to church, come here, come regularly. And I'm saying this not as minister, but out of my recognition in myself of I need to, every week, I need to be reminded that love is the center of my faith and that I am surrounded by other people who hold those same values. And there is something about that. And I would say also, and find joy wherever we can, including here, including in the little things, and going to music festivals, and because we do have to keep living during all of this. Again, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And we do not, I think this is something that just has to be a daily practice, and that is over and over again, you know, going back to that old saying about I can't do everything, but that I'm not going to let that hold me back from doing the thing that I can do. I've heard a metaphor about how in choir, like how do y'all breathe, right? And so it's just kind of understood among choir members that they don't all breathe at the same time, right? And that's for us too. We take our break knowing that the person next to it, we stop to breathe knowing that the next person is continuing to sing the song. Thank you so much for your questions, and you're going to be, those I didn't get to answer, you're going to be hearing, read your newsletter, you'll be hearing a lot of those in there. And now if you will join me in our moment of prayer, and we'll go ahead and we're going to skip the last hymn because I've kind of run us over our time. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, prayer cannot bring water to parched fields or mend a broken bridge or rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. I would add that this is where we give words to the yearnings of our hearts. In that spirit, let us pray. May we become centered in peace and in love as a hurricane of things that are not our values swirl around us. Let us have the vulnerability to turn to each other when we need strength and to ask the hard questions not only of each other, but of our elected representatives. Ask the hard questions. Don't just nod. Don't just comply. And may we strengthen each other. Being in a community, we share our lives with each other, including the significant milestones, joys, and sorrows. And today, Taffy shares good news. Sophie is home from the hospital, still acclimating, but doing well. Chris Jarman shares a joy. Her husband has his last radiation treatment tomorrow. Barbara Coldiron shares, I'm off to Australia. See you in 5 weeks. And Bill Dower says, grateful for continued good health and adult offspring who are well adjusted and part of my life. May we bear witness with the concerns both expressed and silent in our hearts. Amen and blessed be. And please join me in singing. we do like questions here, and you got to hear us answer, but in a couple of months, I'm going to do a reverse one, and I'm going to be asking y'all some questions, because one of the things that we do hold as a central tenet of our faith is that we are, as James Luther Adams said, the prophethood of all believers, and believers in the very broad sense. I welcome your questions all the time. You don't have to wait for this service. Just drop me an email at minister@liveoakuu.org. May you go forward this week. May it be a good week for you. May you be strengthened by courage and guided by love and steadfast in living out of your core values.
I believe we're going to skip the closing hymn. So we are going to extinguish the chalice. Nico? Oh, yes. Please stand up. Let us say these words to each other as we extinguish our chalice. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Thank you. And you may sit down now. Thank you. It has been a gift to be together today. Thank you for the home team, and that stands for hospitality and membership. They provided hospitality and worship and tech leadership. Okay, so there's Laura, Cassandra, Tina, Nancy, Dory, Chris, Don, and Thomas. At the sound system is Mike, and live stream, thank you, is Amy. Let's continue that hospitality by spending the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't know yet. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any first-time visitors we have. They're the ones with the handwritten name tag. And show them where the visitors table is and the coffee are. And may we all know, I know coffee is important, and may we all know the blessings of fellowship.